Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Tim.
Welcome to Vintage Food Farm. Well, it is now the wet season. The monsoon is upon us. It has been 3 years that we have been at Vintage Food Farm, and today we're going to show you the difference between 3 years ago and today. We're going to tell you some of the stuff that we like, we're going to tell you some of the stuff that we don't like, and we are going to show you somewhere on the block that you have not been before. So I've got my trusty Bunnings umbrella, which I've got to say is the best $12 umbrella you'll ever get. And we're going to go for a walk around the block and I'm going to show you the difference between now and 3 years ago. It is incredible. And do you know what? Until I actually went back and had a look at the photos, I didn't even believe how much it has changed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each thing now and 3 years ago. And I'm going to try and do it from the same position of the photos that we took 3 years ago when we first moved in and as we were setting up. You can see here, this is what it looked like in 2021, 22, 23, in February 2021. Is that when we moved in, Tim? So February 2021 versus February 2024. I know we're not in February quite yet, but we're only a couple of weeks away. So basically that is the view through to the house now. So we've got all the chickens set up with the 2 coops and the runs. We've got the vegetable garden. And now have a look at this. This is in February 2021. What a difference. What a difference. Looking through this way, you can see that we've cleared a lot of the garden in front of the house because we wanted to be able to see all the mango trees. And the main difference that you will see here is how green it is. And that's because it's the wet season. So that is that shot. Just look at how much greener it is. And also a lot of it's cleared out. And we've still got a lot to do in that centre bit because we want to clear it out completely and just have grass coming up to the trees with all the orchard all around it as we plant all the avocado trees, the achar, what's that plum called?
Hodge plum.
The Hodge plum, the Davidson plums. So a lot of fruit trees are going to come down here soon. And that's why we've cleared it all out of all the smaller shrubs because we just want it lawn, clear, fruit trees. We can see the snakes. Tim is just shutting up the shed because it's really about to come down in buckets. But I'll just give you a quick sneaky little look at our neighbour's beautiful property. So over there is the horse paddock. And then he's got this gorgeous little woodshed. Heaps and heaps of wood, firewood. Really, really beautiful. And then if we come down here, this is about the same shot . You can see here the main difference again. There's a few more plants growing over here. We've got a lot of betel leaf and herbs and stuff in that garden now. The lychee tree is absolutely huge and all the mango trees are really big as well.
Do you mean longan tree or?
I mean longan tree.
Longan tree, yeah.
Longan tree, yeah. Why did I say lychee after all this? That lychee tree is the most embarrassing plant we've ever had because every time I did a video on fruit trees, I announced a new tree. And now we found out that it's something different again, which is not a lychee, not a longan, but a longan, which is actually better than a longan if you live in Southeast Asia. So we are walking. So this is the funniest thing ever. I got a message from somebody this morning saying how much they love the channel, how much they enjoy watching the videos, all the information about what we grow and how we eat it. But I am very, very annoying because at the beginning of every sentence I say so. So, this is like a drinking game now. Count how many times I say so in one video. Having said all of that, I do actually take it on board. I do say it a lot, so I'm going to try and reduce my so's. These are all the mango trees. And because of that big cyclone rain that we had, a lot of them just rotted on the tree. Some of them are still good though. So I think we'll still get a few dozen mangoes, which is not great, but that's what happens when you have a cyclone. So after After Cyclone Jasper, we got about 2 meters of rain, or 1.5 to 2 meters of rain. So we had significant rain. A lot of the plants really felt it hard, and a lot of the fruit that was on the trees actually rotted because it just got so wet and moldy and gross, and didn't get a chance to dry out for way over a week. It rained a lot last night, and I'll show you the gorilla cart that we didn't put away yesterday. Look how much water's in that. Oh, that is so heavy. When you are doing something like that, what you are looking for is a cane toad that is going to jump out on you, so you need to be ready to jump back. This is the shot of the mango trees. So this is 2024, 2021. One of our goals for this wet season is to plant all of these plants. So you can see there's heaps of fruit trees and herbs and everything in there. And the reason we've been putting it off and waiting is because if we plant them in the wet season, we don't have to keep watering them. So they get a few months of intense water, hopefully not too much, where their roots can all grow and they can settle in and get going without us having to water them. And then by the time it gets to the dry season, in like March or April, then we don't have to water them as much. I'm not actually sure whether this shot is better in 2021 or now, possibly 2021, but I'll show you the difference. And again, this shot, this is what the veggie garden looks like now. It's a little bit worse than what it was a couple of months ago because it's just not quite looking as good because of all the rain that we had, but still very productive and very beautiful. But look at this. This is how we started. We ordered the garden beds to be made at Andy's Sheep Metal in Cairns. He made them all. This was in the middle of COVID, so there was lots of delays and lack of stock. Tim went and got a truck and bought it up, and you can see that he's pulled the truck up next to the house, and him and our son Howard are unloading all of the garden beds. And basically just laying them out roughly where they're going to go. It was a big job, but the garden beds are actually very light, but you would still need 2 people. And next we filled up the bottom of the garden beds as much as we could with rubbish and sticks and stones and any sort of debris that we could find around the place, trees that we'd cut down. We then got a load of mill mud, and Tim hired a bobcat, because we wanted to do as much as we could, as quickly as we could and efficiently as we could, so that we could get all the hard work done and then just have the easy stuff to do. So he hired a bobcat and he filled all of the garden beds and laid them all out. So we set up this whole garden. We had all the plants in, and then we woke up the next morning and everything was eaten. So Tim had to we went and bought an old gate and some fencing posts and some wire, and Tim put this fence around it to stop all of the wallabies and the bandicoots and the possums and the rats from eating all of our beautiful vegetables. But it worked, so job well done. This next shot of the house, here, the main difference is actually, I mean, we've replaced a lot of stuff, but it sort of still looks pretty much the same, but we've got probably 10 more fruit trees in the front. The main difference is right now is that it is so green, which is not really a comparison because it's the wet season. As soon as it gets to April again next year, this will dry out a lot. But still, we've got 6 extra fruit trees. We've got the passion fruit on the clothesline. We've got some papaya in the front there and a ton of turmeric. And I don't think I've got a before shot of this bamboo, but just have a look at this. It is absolutely huge. So pretty. I don't know if you can hear the constant crickety sound here, but that's cicadas, and it sometimes comes across as a hiss in the video because it's so high pitched, but the place is full of cicadas or cicadas singing their songs all day. It's very beautiful. Hello chickens, what you doing? What you doing? Hey? So these are all little self-seeded palm trees. There's some passion fruit that's coming back after the rain. This banana tree fell down in the floods with bananas on it. That's a shame. Oh, that's sad. Oh well. I mean, we were lucky we just got flooded in a cyclone and not blown away, so that's okay. So Tim's going to cut this down now and we will put it in the chicken run because we feed this banana stem to the chickens. So they'll eat those bananas as well. They'll eat the leaves. Machete Man chicken food, and this is Machete Man. Tim's just going to chuck those bits of banana over the fence to the chickens. And then I'll also cut that up for them, but they'll still have a peck at it. They're not very happy they're locked up at the moment, but they haven't been good. They've been wandering too far, so they need to be locked up for a few days. So this is the underripe bunch of bananas, and Tim's just going to chop it up and chuck it over the fence for the chickens. chuk, chuk, chuk. Chuk, 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 chuk. Here's another bunch, and there's a beautiful banana flower. Looking at this photo, see this tiny, tiny little spiky plant? This is what it looks like now. So it's a pandanus. So it's a native pandanus tree which will grow quite tall. Look at that. Tim's going to chop off all these branches and we will give them to, well, there's the bananas.
Oh, that's heavy.
That is so heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are huge. That's probably the nicest bunch of bananas we've had yet. That is beautiful. And then chopping up the chicken food. So you see all that flesh inside there, all that sap. The chickens love eating that. So I just rip off a few like layers and chop it up with some scissors every single morning, and they hoe into it. They love it. One of the downsides of living up here, especially in the monsoon or the wet season, is the march flies. And I am being eaten alive, and you don't just get bitten and then you get over it and it's okay. For days afterwards you get swelling and it's horrible. Look at that spider. That's another thing that's in banana plants is spiders. Tim is going to hang up these bananas to ripen. Look at that. That is so beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, there's already some almost ripe.
That's crazy. I think they're more plump because of all the rain.
Yeah.
Look at that. Perfect bananas. And then we've also got this little bunch that dropped off, that they will ripen beautifully. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, one of the neighbours put on Facebook that they were digging up a heap of edible taro and they were putting it on the nature strip outside the front of their house, and if anybody wanted some to come and get some. So of course I did. And look how much taro. They had heaps and heaps and heaps. But we are going to plant this today. We already have purple taro in the garden, but this is a white variety. And taro is fantastic as taro chips or as grated in Cambodian spring rolls, which is just like a Vietnamese spring roll but with grated taro in it. You can add taro to anything and it has a beautiful flavour and a beautiful texture, and it replaces potatoes or sweet potatoes or yams or whatever else you're using. We hadn't had a shower or anything, we just jumped up and got in the car and went down to a street just around the corner from us. And you can see here this lady has laid out all this taro on the side of the road beautifully neatly. And we grabbed that, and we also grabbed this sprouted coconut, which is so cool. I love it here that people just share whatever is excess. People give away stuff all the time. It's a beautiful, beautiful little community. And now we're going to go and plant them in the veggie garden. So down the back of the vegetable garden, we've got things like sweet potatoes and yams, and there's some Vietnamese coriander, everything that's sort of self-seeded and come up. But we're going to plant the taro down the back here because one, it is very wet, and taro likes really wet. The other thing is that the kangaroos can't get to it. We've now been living in Cairns area for about 5 years.
6 years.
6 years. And we've been living on Vintage Food Farm for 3 years. And we have absolutely no regrets. It is incredible. But I'm going to tell you some of the downsides about living here. So obviously the first thing would be floods and cyclones, and not the wet season. The wet season is incredible. The monsoon is the most powerful reminder that nature is in charge, and it is absolutely a beautiful time of year. But there are inconveniences that come along with that because of the flooding and the immense amount of rain. We have trees fall down, we have roads cut off, we have roads flooded every single wet season. Every wet season, the trucks can't get up from down south, so we're missing things in the supermarket. But none of that really matters because of how we've set up the property and how much stuff we have here to eat. So we don't usually go without anything. Some of the other things that are downsides, which is obvious, are snakes, cane toads. There are cane toads everywhere. Thousands and thousands and thousands of cane toads, and they scare the bejesus out of you multiple times a day. If you pick something up, there is going to be a cane toad under it. Termites. Your house has to be like pretty termite proof. Mud is everywhere in the wet season, so it's beautiful and green on the surface, but then you'll get to a low bit and your feet are squelching in mud. If you don't have air conditioning or in your cars or in your shed, you will end up with mould at some times of year. We don't have a problem with mould in this house, but so Tim and I have lived all over Australia. We've lived in Melbourne. We've lived in the Northern Territory. We both grew up and went to school in the Northern Territory. We lived in Alice Springs, in Katherine, in Darwin. We lived in Brisbane. We lived in Sydney. And then we've come back up here. So we know what the weather is like around most of Australia. In Darwin, we did have quite a bit of mould issues because it was back in the early 90s and we didn't have air conditioning. Here we do have air conditioning, and I think the place is designed a little bit better, so we don't have a mould issue, but it can be a massive issue for people up here in the wet season. One of the other things that is a little bit difficult about living on a homestead type property is that you are committed. It is a big commitment. So we don't commit to doing a lot of work. We did a lot of work in the beginning. It was very, very hard to set the vegetable gardens up and the chickens up, the coops, the fences, the fruit trees. That was all very hard work. But we did it knowing that at some point we would have it so that we didn't have to work hard, which is where we're at right now. But we still have to be here for the little tasks, like feeding the chickens, letting the chickens out, looking for pythons. So it's not as easy to go away. We still do. We're lucky because we have a granny flat where our son lives. So when we go away, he looks after the property, which is very, very lucky. But if you did not have that, it could be a real downside that you can't just pack up and go overseas or interstate for a holiday. So the upsides of living here, oh, actually one of the other downsides is that you can't just get takeaway food. You can't, in Sydney, we ate out all the time, and if we didn't eat out, we got delivery or, takeaway or something like that. Here, Kuranda closes literally at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. The pub does do some meals takeaway, but there are not many options for eating or getting in food, which makes it difficult, except that it doesn't, because it has made us really disciplined at what we eat, and it has made it so that we have had to be very creative and experimental when it comes to cooking out of the garden. So I'm actually really happy that is the situation, because we have saved a lot of money, we eat healthier, we are learning to cook, and that's part of the reason why we travel all through Southeast Asia, eating and looking at people's farms and properties, is so that we can learn how to grow tropical food and how to eat tropical food. And I don't just mean a bowl of lettuce or a bowl of spinach. It has to taste very good for us to be satisfied, because having lived all over Australia, having eaten Lebanese in Punch Bowl and Lakemba, having eaten Xiaolong Bao in Ashfield, having eaten Chinese in Box Hill in Victoria, having eaten Greek in Oakley, we love food. So the fact that we have to make our own food from what we grow was a challenge. It was a learning curve, and I think that sometimes people can be great gardeners, but because there's a disconnect between what you grow and what you cook, it's not as practical and as valuable as what it could be. So that is the challenge, and that is what we had to learn, and that is what has been very, very exciting. And if there had been a Macca's next door, that wouldn't have happened. Another really great thing about living out here is we're not even really social people. Like, we're probably more on the reclusive side, which is why we have a homestead where we can just do what we want to do and not talk to anybody. But our neighbours are really, really nice. I remember when we were looking for a property and we came across this one, and the real estate agent said, yeah, and the neighbours are really nice. And I was like, well, yeah, of course, everybody's neighbours are really nice when you're about to buy a house. They're not going to tell you that the dogs bark and the neighbours fight and all that sort of stuff. But our neighbours actually are really, really nice. It's really farmy. It's really cute. Everybody there's a guy has like a bar set up, and on a Friday and a Sunday night they go down and they ring a big cowbell that echoes across the whole community, and everybody goes down and has a beer. Really, really cool. At Christmas, everybody gets together down there. There's no social pressure. It's not pressure to go down there. You go down if you want to, you don't if you don't want to. But yeah, really, really nice neighbours. And yeah, just a really nice place to live. If we do want to buy anything, if we need something, so when the roads get cut off and trees go across the roads and the range is closed and we can't get to a Coles down in Cairns, we do have our little Speewah servo. It's called the Speewah Tavern, and we can buy petrol for the generators. We can buy chicken food or animal food. We can buy just the basics as far as food goes. It has everything that we need, and that is good enough, and it's a lovely little place, and provided the road doesn't get flooded between us and the tavern, it's really handy. And I'll take you and I'll just give you a quick look at what the Speewah Tavern looks like. It's a beautiful place. It's got a swimming pool, it's got a pub with a dining area, it does live music, it has a pool competition, a little supermarket. Very, very cool. Like it here?
Yeah, it's really, really peaceful and beautiful here.
I think that's the thing, it is peaceful, and we can have the dogs running around, we don't have to worry about them. It's just like, it's so quiet. It's the animals, the birds, the wallabies, the cockatoos, even though sometimes I don't like the cockatoos, the kookaburras, just, yeah, really, really tranquil. And it takes us, and this is another downside, it takes us 30 minutes to get to the nearest shopping centre, 40 minutes to get into Cairns. So it's a long drive, but when you get out here, you just decompress and it's beautiful. But next we're going to go and take you to the Speewah Tavern and show you what our local shop is like. This is, look at how much water is coming down the driveway because it's the wet season and it's raining like crazy. But here is the driveway in 2024. There's some more bunches of bananas over there. That's a small plant that never gets water, so that's not so great. Right now we're going to take you down and show you the tavern, which is basically our local corner store. So this is our local Speewah Tavern, and I'll just take you in and show you. So we can get petrol for the cars and for the generators. We can get chicken food. We can get a pie. They've got a room out the back, which is actually where we come and get some of our sunflower seeds and our chicken food, and I'll show you. So this is a cool room, so they've got it all air conditioned. And out the back here, you can get chicken food, goat food, pig food. There's the game bird starter, which is ordered for me. They've got hay, horse food, chaff, and then all the chicken food. You can even buy kangaroo food. So very, very handy that we can come down here and get fuel and also get any chicken supplies that we need, and also dog food. They've got a little one of the free book exchange libraries, and then this is all seating for the pub, and we're going to go in and have a shardy and a beer. Such a lovely place, really cozy. Pool table. And here's our friend Mr. Rooster. Hello, how you going? Hello, Mr. Rooster. There's a rooster and two hens that just walk around here the whole time. And they've just built this amphitheatre that comes off. How cute is this place? And a swimming pool. This place is just new. They only built this about probably 12 months ago. And they call it the amphitheatre, and I think they do live music down here as well. And that's the view from the back. And in the wet season, that creek floods. So all of this will go underwater. And that's their pool comp board, $5 entry. So nice here, hey?
Yeah, it's really comfortable.
Look at you. Bok, bok, bok. Mr. Rooster. This is our sort of pub where there's roosters. So that's the Spiwa Tavern. That is our local pub food restaurant / pizza / takeaway / petrol and diesel if we need fuel for the generators or the cars. Very nice people. They've got a crazy amount of birds and chickens and everything around here as well. Really nice atmosphere, really chill. Yeah, that's the Spiwa Tavern. Pretty cool. So next, I am going to go and get some gumboots on because I am not walking in that bush without gumboots on. And that is where we're going to take you. We're going to take you for a walk through the rainforesty bush on our block. And I am terrified. There are snakes, there are wallabies, there are paddy melons, the little tiny little brown wallabies everywhere. There are spiders, but it is so beautiful. It is like a rainforest and it's lovely. So let me go and get some gumboots on, and then this is the place you've never seen on the block, and we're going to take you there now. Okay, so I've got my classy $7 Cambodian gumboots, and we're going to go for a walk through the bush. I've got my umbrella and we are heading off into the bush. You have to be prepared for rain at any time of day here in the wet season. So we're actually going to bring the dogs in with us as well. But this is the kangaroo track, we call it, which goes into the bush. And we're going to go for a walk into this beautiful rainforest. Look in here, it's like 10 degrees cooler. Look how much leaf litter is on the ground. It is so beautiful. And I am watching for pythons or any other creepy crawlies. The dogs love it in here. Just look at all the vines and everything everywhere going right up the trees. It's so peaceful and so beautiful. No wonder they call it rainforest. Do you like the bush, Sheila? Do you like the bush? Look at this, so pretty. If you don't see this video, it's because we're dead and we've been strangled by a python. Oh, look at this tree.
Look at it.
Wow, it's huge. I bet you something lives in the bottom of that. That is a huge tree. Look at this one. How pretty is that? Just look at it, it's huge. As beautiful as the rest of the property is, this is really the most beautiful place, which is inside the rainforest, and it is so special to be able to come for a walk in here, especially in the monsoon, especially in the wet season. Look, that tree is growing out of a rock. This is a termite mound, so that has termites in it. This here is scary as anything. This is an old water tank for some horses that used to live here back in the day. Totally, totally terrifying. Like if there's bodies buried anywhere, that's where it is. So that is it. We have lived here now for 3 years. We have achieved a lot and we are so happy. And the most beautiful place on the whole property is in this rainforest. If you feel like it, and only if you feel like it, like and subscribe. But most importantly, stay calm in the farm. Yeah, so February 2021 versus actually January. So, so this is where everybody has measured their height, and Tim wasn't that height. Show me. So there's Samuel and Shannon and Chris and Rob's perch and Shay.
So you check your status in Spiwa.
Funny place.